2024 is coming to an ending, and everyone's going to be doing their top 10 or top 20s of 2024, but I just watched something and added something new to my top 10 for 2023. At number 20, I have May December. Like, this might have been in my top 10 for this year. That's how good 2023 was. They Clone Tyrone was so much fun. I have this at 19. I won't stand for any Gran Turismo hate. If you haven't seen this, don't judge it. Check it out. This is very good. This is almost as good as Ford vs. Ferrari. John Wick 4 is an incredible action movie. Again, this would have been in my top 10 for this year. Great performances, beautifully shot. This is a great movie. Bottoms was my favorite comedy of 2023. I thought this was a very smart flip of Superbad with some Fight Club thrown in. Totally not what I was expecting, and the ending goes insane. I could see how some people did not like this, but for me, I thought this movie was hilarious. Talk to Me was original. I really enjoyed this story. Now, I felt like the movie was a tad overhyped, so when I first watched it, I was a little bit disappointed. On rewatch, though, I bumped this up to 4 stars. Loved it. The Killer was awesome. Peak Fincher. This is in my 5th or 6th slot for Fincher overall. Godzilla -1 was in my top 10. I initially had this at 5 stars. I rewatched this and I don't love the ending. To me, the ending nerfs the most powerful scene in the entire movie. I also feel like this movie has some pacing issues that really stood out to me on rewatch. So I did bump this down on rewatch. This is still an excellent movie and probably the best Godzilla movie that I've seen. I thought 1001 was a powerful story of parenthood. I thought it was a good mix of something like The Florida Project with elements of Moonlight. I thought this movie was incredible. Latest edition that just cracked my top 10. I just watched this. This movie is one of the best coming of age films I've ever seen. I was blown away. Like, I thought this movie was incredible. So many good little details. Benny Safdie and Rachel McAdams as parents. All of the performances were good. There were so many little elements to growing up that this movie really showed, and it just made all of these characters feel so realistic and relatable. I thought this movie was great. Boy and the Heron is now my favorite Studio Ghibli film. I thought this was the perfect mix of something like Princess Mononoke, which had been my favorite, and something like Spirited Away, which I feel like is a little bit too fantastical. I think this was a good mix of both. Across the Spider-Verse, insanely beautiful animation, great story, great voice acting, super entertaining. I watched this 3 times last year. This is an amazing movie. Guardians Volume 3 is my favorite MCU film of all time. The only MCU film I would give 5 stars. I laughed, I cried, I was extremely entertained the entire time. This is going to throw some people off. I loved Dream Scenario. This is in my top 15 A24s. My favorite Nicolas Cage performance of all time. I thought this movie was extremely entertaining. I thought it was funny. I thought it was creepy at times. Like, I love genre mashups, and this movie has so many different elements to it that I loved. What else can I say about Oppenheimer? Insane cinematography, amazing score, amazing dialogue. For a dialogue-heavy movie to keep me on the edge of my seat for the entire runtime of this is a miracle. I was blown away by Anatomy of a Fall, one of the best scripts, some of the best performances, an incredible mystery, an incredible courtroom movie. This movie had it all for me. Zone of Interest is shot incredibly. It is thought-provoking. It is depressing. It is relevant for the times we live in. It took me 2 watches for Past Lives to like really connect with me. And this has the best of all time, will they or won't they kiss scene. Very mature. I loved this movie also. At number 1, I had Poor Things. This movie blew my mind the first time I watched it. Like, there was just so much to this story that had me thinking for so long. It's shot incredibly well. The performances in this are incredible. This movie, I don't even know what to say. Like, I thought Poor Things was a fucking masterpiece. So I'll be doing my top 10 for 2024 soon, but man, there were so many good movies. I'm still adding bangers to my list from 2023.